Huwag ilaglag po. Ano ba? Kanala ka kolekta hota ilagad chali katigutuma. Ilan ni kawehon unga hikirodun innakto. Aglan kuyanak pakai kafe unga tadukdora kafe. Uwap tingnik ilihawrin yura kamnuk. Uwaguk unalaka ilihimagik pungit chuk. Ilihawrak miuk ilanip tok okakalawa kama. Ilichorak tunga kanok ngilakan. Hamni biaktut mat ko utok kanat ka. Utok kanaw kalak tunga pang mapak. Aglan bigo malaykit ka. Kamagipiakat ka ilihawrit ka. Ilihawriw luting. Hunigila ka ilihawriw luting. Takti chuanin. Iliha palihimay chuanin. Inyok mablunga. Utok kanat mat ka. Uwapting ninki utok kaurat. Nitakaurat wagut. Uwapting nin utok kaurat. Kamagipiakat ka. Ilihimakpang nakuting ilokating. Nalagtuak luwit, nalagtuak marikak luwit, nalagtuak nakarit ka. Agla nila ni tatang una kule lang nariga ara nga. Hibi-hiwait pi. I talk too long. Susan's gonna try to try to remember what I said.
Yeah. She said sometimes our happiness seems far away. She said it seems really far that we can't reach it. And she said every time she's going through that dark period of time in her life, she starts remembering her ancestors, her grandparents or her parents. And they're right in front of her. Hamnek is like right in front of you all the time. She said they're just like right in front of you.
Face to face.
Okay, like they're face to face in front of her. And she said that their words, she said, we don't know everything. She said, we don't know. But when she starts to remember her grandparents and her parents, it all comes back to her because they were the ones who taught us. There was no doctors at that time, no policemen, nobody around. But so they had to deal with their families on their own. And she said they're really solid and grounded people. So that's what like she Leonard. Always remembers.
Just like Leonard?
Just like Leonard, yes. Yeah. And you're going to say about your dadang?
Oh.
Yeah.
Anong kaktaw? May pigo ang tilit yung tatam nag-kolekta kaktaw nga. Tapos kita taga una atanak pag-ihunig kakput. Kamanyan-yanak. Nanang makabamat ko at hibun niyok tingit kamanyan-yanya ako ni kang eh. Tataga to tight na hiunak kak. Tataga Harry inyukaklak. Pigo malait kiga. Nanaga una. Tayo mga nakakone. Miking nga mahuli. Mga umang kaya galawak din na tahaman ni tayo mga kone. Ayun nilaki kahit annarinakpain man una tukuruanik ukakto ni. Yeah. Oh,
she said she was talking about her grandfather who was Harry Inuvik, and her grandmother was Minnie, but she died when Lillian was just a little girl. You weren't very big girl. She died. She passed on then. And my grandfather was like a chief, and grandmother Alice would say,
just my grandfather.
Oh, yeah. Alice would say, "Kamanana." What
Yeah,
she
oh
would
yeah,
say?
yeah, she used to say, come on, yan, yan, yan.
Just like trying to say Governor General now.
Yeah, yeah. And she
Come.
calls him, come on, yan, yan, yan. When they talk about, Kuleakto kaming, aklawing miwa kamakaman yan, yan, at tikit kakarat.
So they had their words of saying the Governor General, and I think that's how my grandfather was. Harry, not like the Governor General, but like people seeing him as like a chief in the camp,
Yeah,
at the camps.
at our little community camp.
Yeah.
Just like, people, every time I think of people down south, and those people that stay together, what are they?
Oh, reserves?
Yeah.
In a reserve? Like?
No.
Oh, okay.
Those, that tabang kairot, they have Mennonites.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
Every time they talk about Mennonites, I always think of our family. That's the way we were.
Oh, yeah.
That's the way our family in Alatkasik was. Because my Danikton?
Yes, Dunnington.
Okay.
Yeah.
My grandfather took his daughters in when their husband passed away. My oldest auntie, Takban, Ida Allen, lost her husband, so he took her in and his kids. She had 3 of them, but Emma stayed with the Allens, her other grandparents, Colin Allen's parents, and those other 2, Colin and Victor, stayed with their mother. So we just like grew up together. And a few years down the road, my auntie Alak lost her husband also. So he took her in with all her little children. I forget how many she had.
5, I
5
think.
or
Yeah.
6.
Yeah, 5 or 6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he had adopted children too. William Allen was his adopted son. Well, both of them, my grandmother and him, they adopted him, and Colin Harry. They were both adopted to my grandparents. They adopted them because of maybe their mothers passed away or something. When people like that, usually they adopt them for a reason.
Orphans,
And another
maybe?
reason.
They're orphans?
Yeah.
No parents? Yeah.
Yeah. Or just a mother gone, or
Okay.
even their
No,
father.
yeah.
Too hard for the father to look after them, so they always end up taking them. Or the other way too, a family couldn't have any children of their own. So if another family, like a relative, one of the relatives had a lot of children, they would give one to them. So that's how thoughtful and caring they were. Caring for these people that didn't have no children of their own. So both my parents were adopted out. There's another reason for my father being adopted, but I'll just tell you about my mother. My grandfather and Frank were brothers.
Brothers, yeah.
Okay. Them, they couldn't have any children.
Frank and Lena?
Kalyak and Frank
Yeah.
couldn't have any children. They had, I don't know, either one of them had Winnie. Her name was Winnie, way older than my mom. She used to show us where they used to live in a Clavic site, those mountains. There's 2 mountains, she used to show us all the time. They're just like 2 big hills like this, mountains together.
Yeah.
Just like a big heart. She said that's where they used to live. They lived there year round. And she lost her sister throughout the, I mean, I don't know how old she was. She passed on. And this is the way the parents used to take, they wouldn't go against the little ones like my mother. They thought so much of my mother. They just loved her like their own child. Frank and Ochilyak.
Lena?
Lena?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah. Anyways, her sister passed on. That's how, this is the way the elders used to take good care of their children, that they don't hurt them, huh? They don't just grab them and say, no, you can't do that. You just better do it this way. They don't do that. Her sister passed on at night. That must have been late at night. Winnie, she loved her sister so much that she wouldn't let her parents put her outside to get cold and freeze her body. She wouldn't let them take her outside because she didn't want her to get cold. She didn't know she was gone. They kept her in all day.
Wow. Even she was dead.
Yeah.
Wow.
Just let her lay in the house for all day. My mother used to tell me about it. And she used to just love it because, you know, I think that's why she learned to take good care of us like that. Like, you know, she didn't yell at us or say we're no good or just our upbringing was really something that these two couples supposed to live together and raise up their children. Today, our children are caring, and they won't just watch somebody there that's hungry. And if they know that they need a cigarette or they need bread or something to eat, if they have it in their hand, they'll give it to them. And that's the way our children and grandchildren all are. They're all the same. We try to bring them up like the way we were brought up. And my father and my mother were, a loving person was my mother. That cared so much for us. She didn't want nothing to hurt us. And my father was, get up, good morning.
Yeah.
Time to get up,
No,
7 o'clock,
she-
bang, 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 everything in the house is bang, bang, bang. He won't let us sleep late. And by the time he's finished banging around, he's going to work. And we're wide awake by... and when he's going to... And today, his grandchildren, my boys and that, still never forget, you gotta work, you gotta work. They laugh about it today, but it was just the way my father was. But it's together, that's together that they put these things together. Like my mother wouldn't do that, but my father did. And my mother was such a loving, caring person that she didn't want us to get hurt or anything, but only way she tells us is when she talks. And also I remember my aunties, and well, I had only 2 uncles. One was adopted and one was my real uncle. Isaac Simon was the only blood uncle that I had through my mother's parents. That was the only son they had. They had a couple of more, but they passed away also. But they taught us how to be nice, how to be kind to people. don't think you know everything, and nobody else knows what you're, how to do this and how to do that. You got to be, this little girl say, you got to be in the same level. You
Yeah,
can't be higher, you can't be lower.
for sure, for sure.
Maybe you have more to say. If there's any questions, just let me
Yeah.
phone us or what.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, those were values that were taught from generation to generation, and majority of the people I know, they live like that. You know, like
Yeah.
that those kind of
Yeah.
values they have in their families because of their parents caring for them and loving grandparents. And when you were talking about before, when happiness is so far you can't reach it. And then as soon as you start talking about the values of your grandparents and parents, whew, disappears. And then
Out
you
they
just
go.
feel, you just feel so like
Yeah.
you can feel the warmth in your heart.
Yes.
And that you could carry on for the day. Like,
Yeah.
when we look at, that's why maybe one of these days we'll do a family tree, and it goes for everybody too. That, you know, why we give Inuvik the names, and how special that name meant to us, for us. Those will be some lessons down the road. Yeah, but today we just want to talk about reaching that happiness. As she was saying before, how hard it was to reach that happiness. But as you talk and you share with one another, it seemed to get closer and closer, and then you start to feel the warmth in your heart, and we can do it together. And we support each other, and we get through this.
Especially when as soon as you mention your grandparents or people, elders, then that's where you get comforted.
Yeah.
If they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
You know, like that.
For sure.
It's not, if it was the impossible things that they went through, and they had to go through because they didn't have anybody else to run to, right? So when you think about that, then it's not so, you learn to accept things that are happening. Like with COVID, a lot of us, even if it really touched me when I had COVID, I felt the first time that I ever felt so lonely, lost. Nobody cared because they were scared of me. Not of me, but COVID.
Yes, the COVID, yeah, for sure.
Nobody even phoned. I guess they thought they're going to get COVID by phone.
True, that's so true.
But you learn to accept it by thinking of how you were brought up yourself. And for the young people, it's the same thing. Same thing. I always told my students, I said, you want to treat somebody, rough and belittle them, good for nothing, and that's the way they're going to be. That's the kind of life they're going to live for the rest of their lives. And that's why I always go back to, when I'm teaching, I always go back to that part, because it's not the only elders that has all these things. The young people have them too, because young people end up coming up to be whatever they want to be. If you belittle them, you call them names, and you don't think they're worth, doesn't matter how they act, or how they act around you, and think there's something bigger than you or anything. It's just that you got to watch that part of yourself because you're going to be treated the way you treat people. Exactly. It comes down the road no matter what. It'll come down at the end. You're going to be treated exactly like how you treated the people.
Was there any American word for that? How you treat people?
Liapeke?
How the way you treat people?
Yeah.
What it's called?
I don't know it.
Okay, yeah. Think about it.
Uh-huh.
Because that would be good for us to, because we yeah, okay. we had Kanoricho. Now we should go. Yes, at that time we can't do nothing, especially when a person passes away. Nothing you could do about it, but we could do something about our sadness and our maybe addictions that we went through in the 1960s in the 1960s, early 60s. Inuvik was there was so many alcohol and that it was hard living through at that time. But we are today. We've overcome. So those kind of words that we need to look and say over and over in our minds so that we can become part of us then. If we say them over and over like our kinarauta.
It's okay.
Yeah. We're going to say the Lord's Prayer. We talked too much. We forgot about our prayer. Yeah. Yeah.
Isumalun piyok takto ni tabrap tak nakano na piyok naktak piyok ternaktak piyok na ngait kalaktak piyok ternaktak.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Together, huh? Okay.
Apakput
Yang mirutin atkin nakuyauli atanovin kaili ihumatin hanayarli mani nunami khilaktun tauk ublumi gililugu nikiraptingnik aichoktigut ublumi winyakutiptingnik ihumayunarlutin ubagutauk winauvigilayatigut ihumayunarlut tupilangun tahyornata winarmin annautitigut atanovin piyin gihivit huangertin ilivit gihivit kaumenikaktitin nuhichuamik. Amen.
Well, we always say Amen now. Before that, we forgot about Amen. Then Emma Dick said, "Gee, how come you girls never say Amen anymore?" Amen's supposed to be there all the time. So we have Amen there. I always think of every time we go, Amen.
Yeah.
You
know, when we go through Apakput is our Father, which art in heaven. That's what this is all about. But you know, there's some words that are like, some of them have like about 15 letters in the word. So when I first started learning Apakput, it was really hard for me to say it. But the more we said it, the more we went through the Papi Pu and the Kakiku. Now I could say I couldn't say that. That was the hardest thing for me to say. And we now vigilagatigut. Those were the hard, like your tongue just get tangled up. But the more you say it, the more you practice it, and it becomes like I could say it all I still can't say it without the paper,
Yeah.
but I can say it as
Yeah.
to follow along. And the words, because of the Boppy Boo, I know how to say the Q now. I know it's Ka. And sometimes I hear young people when they talk, they always say ha, like they just like they just make it really.
Yeah.
But that's the way it sounds to them, huh?
Yeah.
So the Q is a really like ha.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of those words are like that, but the more you
Yes.
practice it, and it sounds so good when you listen to Lillian talking and telling story, and it just sounds so nice to listen to that. And I'm so thankful I could understand her today. Yes. Okay. Unalo.
Unalutay na. Una kayutim iwakleog totin.
Yeah.
Humik iwaklak totin. Tanikton.
You treat people the way you want to be treated, like they used to tell you long ago.
Okay.
What they used to say, tell you, what kind of words they used to say.
Could we go Kaperovik? Kaperovik.
Okay.
Ka.
Q.
Yes.
Kapero. Is it R or R? O.
Whoop.
Whoop.
Kick.
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 Yeah.
Just like that.
Just kick.
Okay.
Read it.
Kaperovki.
Yeah.
Kaperovki.
Kaperovki.
That is
it's the same as saying
mocking.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah.
Making fun of somebody.
Yes, making fun of somebody and saying, oh, you know what, this guy over there just going like this all the time, like, you know.
Oh yeah.
That's your kapere.
Yeah.
You can't. That's not gonna ever happen to me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go like that when I get.
So that's like treating somebody the way that you wanted to be treated because it could happen to you.
Yeah. If you're happy people.
Yes. Okay. Okay.
And we could do more too with
English would be making fun of somebody, no?
Yeah. It's more or less that. Yeah.
Of someone's maybe disability, maybe, huh?
Could be,
Could be that too, huh?
Yeah. Or walks funny.
Yeah.
Like this.
Oh, yeah. Yes, yeah.
It's like Napo.
Yeah.
It's so hot. How you say?
Hakpik.
Huh?
Hakpik.
Hakpik.
Is that what, like this?
Yeah, hakpik.
Yeah. So that's another word that we could have up here is kaperuupke.
Yeah.
Kaperuup.
Not only one person, two or three people.
Yeah.
People that's around you. If you're.
Oh yeah.
You don't have to mock them, but you're in your mind, or you tell somebody, oh, I just can't stand that person staring at me, stare at me all the time. Then you're going to end up staring at
Yeah.
Without knowing at the end of the time. Like, you know, along the way, you'll be doing this. And you're going to think, oh, gee, that's what I said.
You know, the young kids today, young people, what they call it? They call it karma. Karma. Karma.
You're just like me now. When I'm trying to write in English, I can write put Q on it instead of care.
Yeah, I think they call it
A lot of
karma.
times yeah.
When they kapero upke. Kapero upke.
Kapero
Kapero upke.
There's something wrong, missing.
Kapero upke.
Upke. Good.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought there might be 2 G's.
Yeah.
Kapero upke.
That's what they say.
Mm-hmm.
You treat people the way
Yeah.
that you want it to be treated. So those kind of things don't happen to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
That's why you try not to copy people. Like, myself, years ago, I'll just tell you a little story about myself.
Yes.
Why I'm so short and I was like this. My mother warned me and my brother Nabu, my younger brother was next to me. She warned us when we were just tiny little, maybe, I would say 5 and 6, maybe. We were at, I just want to tell you, Leonard, if you're watching, I'll tell you about this just to make you laugh. This little lady that came to Napuyak, we go to the big Nadrva, Tagaruk, big long lake, lots of berries, yellow berries, blueberries, cranberries. In the fall time, she came over, and she was short, and she was a pretty little woman. She's white too, and she wore this nice little parky. Well, she was going to reach in that big Tagaruk, they call it, a lake like this, table like this. Way down, that lake is really deep.
Ali.
It's got you can't.
No bottom.
No, well, there's bottom, but
yeah.
it's soft.
Oh, yeah.
You could drown in it. And I just happened to be there when she was trying to reach a yellow berry way down, big yellow berry like akpik. She was trying to reach it way down there, and she just about fell. Somehow I hold her hand. I'm just a little girl then too. I hold her hand and I pulled her up slowly. And Nabu been watching me. My younger brother, he's watching me over there when I was pulling her up. And then every time we talked about her, we laughed and we laughed. How I pulled her out of there, just about falling in the water. And well, years down the road, I became that short little woman and always have nice little clothes. Well, my mother said, "You're not supposed to laugh at people. Don't do that. Someday you might be like that." And after I grew up, they say I was just like Panilyara. But she was a nice little woman.
Oh, nice.
I just want Leonard to laugh if you hear me or watching me. But that's what it's all about.
Yes.
Love people, and you're going to end up like...
Those are good words to learn, because they're hardly ever said.
That's right.
Like, we don't hear that. We don't hear kaperupki.
Yeah.
We don't hear that very often nowadays, or not at all.
Yeah.
So it's good to bring those words back and
For the
know what they
younger
mean.
students, like, if they're younger kids, like at the school,
Yeah.
that way it don't make other students feel so,
Yes, for sure. Left out
left
or
out
different
or
or
laughed at.
Yeah, those are really good
Mm-hmm.
words.
That's really good thing to learn.
Mm-hmm.
That if you do that, it's the same thing going to happen to you later on the years.
Mm-hmm. Good. Thank you very much. This is good stories. Thank you for your stories.
Thank you very
So
much.
good. Nice to sit here and laugh on a Friday afternoon. The
Mm-hmm.
sun is shining more brighter now.
Yes.
Longer daylight. Yes. We'll reach that happiness very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you all for watching.
Yes. Thank you very much. Unnuillaw tako helo kahe. Ilihaurakuni inupetun aleana itchok. Aleana erlugu ilihaurirartuut. Aleana erukku una ilinniarun qilimi payaaqilinnartoq. Nukalu kivutait neitkaluartuartauq. Kannguiquni pangmapakkangeqqillahiroq oqallahiroq ilanginnik oqayuitkaluartilluunni taitna uktuaquni upua pangmapakkangeqqillahivullunillu oqawallahivullunillu taiguallahivullunillu qiyanarpakunnuillautaqutsi taavaniittuat Inuvik naalakkufi uanga Lillian Elias ilihimagaluaqiffi piorri Lucy atihi piorluit aloqpauraqiffi aatituoqpauraqiffi kaaqqaarluumanna nunaaqeqpakput.
Thank you. Bye.